Hello?
Hello?
Oh, there you go. I can hear you now, lad. Yeah, your face has gotten lighter. I told you
It's
it
got
wasn't your skin color, man. It was, it's like, I don't know, it's like illuminated. Now I can see that you're speaking. Yeah, calm. Join now.
hello? Hello?
Assalamualaikum.
It's
Is that you, Guzan?
That's me. Wait, hold on, wait, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, calm. This works fine. It's going swimmingly. What's a podcast without technical difficulties? You know what I mean?
Exactly. Assalamualaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to another roundtable discussion today of Talking Minaret. Today I'm joined by Dulabai and Abdullah. You guys want to say salam?
Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Well, it's nice to have you guys here today. So today's topic is regarding Ramadan and unity in Ramadan. During various things that we do in Ramadan, like iftar, suhoor, etc. So I just want to start off the podcast today by asking you guys a question. How are you guys feeling with Ramadan this year? How have you guys, how are you guys coping with, fasting? How are you guys feeling about Ramadan so far?
I think it's pretty much how it is for most years for me, in the sense that first few days obviously it's a little bit hard to get used to, and then after 2-3 days you're completely used to it, and then like now I feel like I can fast 2 days and still not eat. But in terms of like gatherings and stuff, obviously because of COVID and all the restrictions, we can't have iftar in like different people's houses. Um, so that's, for me, that's the only difference. I'm just having iftar every day in my house. But apart from that, alhamdulillah, everything else is pretty similar to how previous years were.
Mm.
Fair enough. How about you, Dulabai?
I think I miss the masjid, Like even during I don't know about you guys, but even during like Zuhur or Asr and stuff like that, I'd be in the masjid. I'd probably take my work laptop in there and just chill there or just talk to people. Just
Yeah.
human contact. And it's not just human contact, just talking about just random stuff. Yeah. It's about like talking about the Ummah, the state of the Ummah as well, and Islam, spirituality, reading the Quran and all that kind of stuff. Just doing that. I know you can read the Quran at home, but I don't know. I feel like I get a better feeling when I'm in the masjid.
Yeah,
No,
definitely.
I definitely agree. I miss going to the masjid as well. Normally, every single day I go Tarawih. I go thingy as well. I pray Tahajjud in the masjid as well. Qiyam al-Layl. I pray Fajr in the masjid normally. So yeah, I'm definitely missing the masjid. I haven't been this year because I'm actually away from home this year.
Mm.
But yeah, normally I do go every single day, and it's just that feeling of community, everyone together, everyone from different walks of life joining, worshiping the Almighty. It's one thing that throughout the whole year, people are divided. They go into their own little divisions.
Mm.
But it's the first time in the whole year, probably the only time in the whole year where people come together and they unify on one thing, which is Allah.
Mm.
Yeah, definitely. I think even people who usually wouldn't go to the mosque that often, usually when it comes to Ramadan, they try and go to. I see rows and rows and rows of people during Tarawih, and it's beautiful because you don't usually see it, and especially there's a different feeling, especially during Ramadan when you come up, when you go into the mosque and you pray with everyone, and then when you come out, it's just there's a refreshing feeling, and it's just a different feeling when you get in Ramadan.
When you go to I don't know if you guys go to Tarawih, but like when you go there and there's rows and rows and rows of people.
Mm.
Yeah, definitely. Because in Tarawih, when people go to Tarawih, like the thing is like not many people go to mosque like regularly. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the average Muslim, I don't think they go to the mosque like every day, like or at least once a day, or like maybe even a couple times a week. But in Ramadan, a lot more people go to mosque every day than they normally do. And you see like so many different kinds of people. You see Somalians, you see people of different skin colors from different areas, different languages. Everyone standing together praying. You know, like people, like they give you space. Comes like we've got space for you, or shoulder to shoulder, this that. You know, like it's like a beautiful thing, man. You see everyone together doing the same thing, unifying. I love it, man. In some ways, it's my best Ramadan so far in my life.
Really?
Yeah, I
Mashallah,
think so.
mashallah.
Last year, this year have been the best Ramadans of my life.
What's it called?
Do you think that's because like you're by yourself and you have like time to reflect and actually like you're not distracted by anything else?
Yeah, I think that's definitely a factor. I feel like obviously when you're with family, you can get indulged in all the fun and like just messing about. But I think because I'm on my own, it gives me more time to focus on like actual Ramadan.
Okay, a question for you guys. In terms of unity in Ramadan, how would you say Ramadan uh tailors to provide more unity for the Ummah?
So you wanna go first?
Tailors in the
I
sense
don't
that like what does Ramadan bring that other months don't have, which can help unify the Ummah?
onion, bazi, and like loads of nice
Oh,
food. You
oh,
know what I mean? All that fried goodness after you have your watermelon. You know, have a couple of slices of that watermelon.
that's true.
Yeah.
Watermelon slaps during Ramadan. That's true,
I don't know
That's
what it
true.
is about the watermelon in Ramadan. Like,
I don't know. It's
I've been
gone.
buying, from Aldi. Uh, from Aldi, they're doing like honeydew melon for like 80 pence or something like that, and they're really nice
No
as well.
way.
So I just been buying, like, I bought a couple of the other day, and like, yeah, fair enough. We have that first to make us feel better about eating all the junk and the garbage, and then we have that, and then we have all the fried goodness, obviously.
Yeah. No,
Oh,
the watermelon is so refreshing. I think it's just the water content in the melon.
yeah, yeah,
And
probably.
when it's been in the fridge as well.
Oh man,
When it's
that's
nice
good.
and cold. Oh, that's
When it's
That's
cold.
very,
Yep. Yep. I
that is
agree. It's
nice.
the same when usually I break my fast with the dates and milk, and when the milk is cold, you can literally feeling the milk going down your esophagus into your stomach. It's so refreshing.
yeah. One thing I realized over Ramadan. In terms of like unity in Ramadan, yeah. You know, obviously you asked the question like what different what does Ramadan have different compared to other ones that contributes towards the unification of the Muslims?
Yeah.
I think first and foremost, the unification of the Muslims should happen like at the smallest level. It should happen within your household. So unifying as like a family is obviously the first step towards unifying as a whole ummah, I think. So in Ramadan, my family, we all 5 prayers we pray together in congregation, like as a family. But we don't do that all year. We do here and there, like obviously when we can. But in Ramadan especially, we make the effort to like pray every single prayer together in congregation.
Yeah.
And I think that's very, very special. And I think that's like, like the first step towards like a sense of unity as well. Because how are you meant to feel you're not unified as a ummah if you don't feel unified even as your own family? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly.
I think
You guys
it's
pray together as well in your households in Ramadan?
Say we try and do the same thing. We try and pray all the salahs together in congregation as well. During Tarawih, the whole family doing it together. And usually we wouldn't pray every prayer together, but now during Ramadan we put that extra effort to make it so that we all wait for each other and we all, pray together.
I think it's also the fact that even you mentioned on like that within your own household that level, but also within like within the masjid, there's a different feeling. Like when when like everybody's rushing to get to the masjid and everybody is like, and you think as in you would never get that kind of that unifying force that Islam has with other religions. Like it's just packed. There was
Yeah.
you know what I mean? It's just packed. And real example. Today I went Jummah, yeah, and it was hot, and it was, I don't know where you guys are if how warm it is, but over where I am, it was quite warm, especially in the afternoon. And then we had the windows and doors open. We're praying in Jamaat, obviously, Jummah. And you just said, I think there was a couple of builders outside. They were non-Muslim. There's a bunch of builders outside, and like they just, I think they had a bit of an astonishment on their face, because that kind of dedication in religion, you don't get that in Christianity. You don't get that in like Judaism, whatever it is. It's something that's specific to Islam, I'd say. And that's the main thing, is the fact that that kind of unity, it brings us, it binds us. Like what's the commonality between you and say another Somalian brother, or say somebody from Pakistan or whatever? What's the commonality? You don't have any commonality. The only thing that binds you is Islam.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I was at work today, and obviously I've been fasting since last Tuesday. But only some of my colleagues only just today realized I was actually fasting. And every single time I meet like new non-Muslims, and I tell them about Ramadan, like during the month of Ramadan, I tell them obviously we're not allowed to eat or drink in the daylight hours.
Yeah.
And every single time they were like, not even water. Not even water. And I was like, yeah, not even water.
The age-old question.
They were so shocked.
Oh man.
They were so shocked.
I don't know.
It's like such a big deal for them. And the thing is, like, the reason they're so shocked is because they can't comprehend that a quarter of the world is Muslim now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so a quarter of the world together doing the same thing, not eating and drinking for 30 days during day hours. They can't comprehend that. And that shows like the strength of the Ummah, what we can do.
Exactly.
If you think about it, one quarter of the world doing this together. Can you believe it?
Alhamdulillah.
It's incredible. There's nothing like it. In other religions, there's nothing like it.
Can you imagine if you told those same non-Muslims that you also do night prayers, Taraweeh in the masjid as well? They'd lose the plot. They'd be like, what, you fast and you pray at night as well? Oh my God.
Yeah.
They'd lose the plot.
I go on TikTok sometimes, and then now more than ever, I see more stuff about Islamic knowledge, people who recommend these types of books, and then, there's so many Islamic videos out there right now, and it's just increasing because of Ramadan, and because of the fact that people are kind of uniting and have this feeling of, oh, if I can repent and I can do all these good deeds and it's going to be multiplied, I'm just going to be rewarded so much more. I feel like it creates the spiritual unity as well. So all at the same time during Ramadan, people, whoever it is, try and become more religious than they were before Ramadan. And I think that's the beauty of Ramadan as well.
Yes, so sorry if I interrupted, but like, like obviously Shaitan's locked up in Ramadan. I don't know about you, but when Ramadan actually, like the moment Ramadan starts, I feel like I can tell Shaitan's locked up. Do you know what I mean? Like I feel like like it's so. I don't know if it's psychological or not, but I feel like it's so much easier to do good deeds. Like so much easier to stay away from bad deeds.
Yeah.
And I feel like in the sense of unity, like naturally people just want to be good. So like when you see like your parents like struggling with something like carrying bags in for shopping, or like you see a Muslim brother struggling with something, you feel like wanting to help them even more than you would do outside Ramadan, because you just feel like being a good person. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. It's easier
Adds
to
to the
stop
unity as
doing
well, like
bad
everyone just
things as
looks
well.
up for each other one Ramadan.
Yeah, 100%. I agree. It's also, I feel like it's easier to stop doing bad things as well. Like if you're tempted to like swear or raise your voice or something, you feel more in control. Like you can control yourself better than before Ramadan. I think I'm not. Yeah, I'm the same as you. I'm not sure if it's a psychological thing, kind of having the knowledge of all the shaitan being locked up, but I'm 100% agree with what you're saying.
There's also, with Ramadan itself, I think it's one of those things where not only is the shaitan locked up and you're trying to do more good deeds, but also the opportunity, you're searching for opportunity. Everybody's searching for opportunities to do better. I
Mm,
think that's the uniqueness of this month, isn't it? Like, like when I'm
Mm.
when like I'm like when I'm at the masjid and stuff like that, I'm looking for opportunities to like, oh, they need more money. Yeah, I'll give you more money. Or ethnically I'm from Bangladesh, innit? So like if they need money back there, I'll send that money back there, and that's part of that unifying effect that Islam has. That you don't like as long as a person said La ilaha illallah, then that's it. You're my brother. So whatever money you need, I'm gonna give it you. Whatever assistance that you need, I'm gonna give it you.
Mm.
It's just unfortunate now the fact that we have to resort to this now because obviously during like historically, if you read Islamic history, um, the zakat was distributed by the state of the Muslims to the point where there was no poor people left, and they would hang the bags of gold on trees with notes saying, "If you need this money, my zakat, then take it." But because and those jangly bags of gold would be there for would be there for like a very long time. Because the state back then would take care of the affairs of the Muslims, and the
Mm.
potential's there. I mean, like if you look at the stats of the Muslims. I mean, like in terms of their resources, the pure resources within the Muslim lands, it's just an abundance. And like we control all the trade routes, like the Strait of Hormuz or the Suez Canal, the world trade routes. Everything goes through our lands. Uh, the Arab region produces around 25.1 million barrels of crude oil per day. That's as of 2018 alone. So you know what I mean? Like it's just. Can you imagine if we're talking about the whole concept of unity, but can you imagine if we were like unified on Islam, but then at the same time we these resources that Allah's given us are not being exploited by the rulers of the Muslim lands currently that we have, who like are pretty much agents of the West kind of thing,
Mm.
or out for themselves. Yeah.
yeah, I feel
Right.
like it would give a bigger leverage like from the Muslim world to the Western world. Like we would have more of a leverage if we could control and could uh, properly deal with these kind of affairs.
I was thinking about it the other day, like in a proper Muslim state, like the Khilafah that we had back in the day, they only deal with gold in gold. That's the Prophet Sallallahu the Sunnah of the Prophet Sallallahu is that we deal in gold. This paper money that we have nowadays, fiat currency, we don't do that. Like that's not part of Islam. Um, But right, so back, if we did return to that state, we're on the topic of unity and all that kind of stuff. Um, and we've controlled all the gas and oil reserves and all this kind of stuff. And then they wanted to buy from us, and then they try and pay with this paper money. We at that stage we'll probably be like, "Nah, we don't want paper. What are we gonna do with paper? Give us gold." You know what I mean? Like we literally have them. We literally have them uh, by all accounts. We'd have control over the world pretty much, and rightly so. I mean, like think about it. If we had that kind of strength, can you imagine how much dawah we could do? How many non-Muslims would convert to Islam because they could see the strength of Islam, not just the strength of the idea of Islam, obviously the Quran and the Sunnah. But I'm on about physical strength of the Muslims. Like people would just converting to Islam in droves.
It's crazy. There's so many
It's
stats that I can't.
crazy.
It's
It's crazy.
crazy.
Like the armed forces of the Arab countries total 2.3 million regular soldiers and 3.5 million reservists. You know what I mean? Like the
Mm,
air force alone of the Arab country, we're not even taking into account non-Arabs, like us Bangladeshis. Yeah, we're not Arab.
mm.
Or Bangladeshis, Pakistanis, Turkish people. We're not even taking into account their military or their reserves or their resources and stuff like that. But like the air force alone of the Arab countries, it totals up to like 5,000 jet fighters, and that's classed as second to the US, which has 14,000. Fair enough. But you know what I mean? And the Arab countries alone possess like 1,100 warships, which places them at the lead in the world. So in terms of the potential of the Muslims, it's absurd. And what Allah's given us is absurd. And the main thing is the fact that what Allah's given us, fair enough, material wealth and all that kind of stuff, fine. But the Islam, that pure monotheism, that pure Tawheed that we all have, that's just something that's it's a blessing from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And also in terms of like livestock and stuff like that, like because it's absurd to me the fact that some of the Muslim states right now they're like poor in it, like deprived, poverty is happening and stuff like that. And I
Yeah.
just think, how is that even possible? Do you guys know the fact that Sudan itself, Sudan alone, has got the agricultural potential. It possesses 345 million cattle, buffalo, sheep, goats, camels. Uh, it has the lion's share of 55% of cattle and buffalo, 25% of sheep and goats. And it's just that could feed like insane amounts of people. Like
Yeah, that could feed many, many countries by itself.
somebody's message. I have no idea how to use this thingamajig, this stereo thing.
Let me ask you this, right? So, I was with the United Nations, so I
Can you hear this?
served with, I don't know how many countries, Netherlands and Spain, Italy, France, and I saying that we didn't work together because I know we did work together.
Abdullah, did you hear it?
I
I didn't
heard.
really understand what he said.
I think he was saying the fact that he worked for the United Nations and he worked with various countries like Netherlands and all this kind of stuff. But what I would say to that is the fact that, you know, I think he's looking at the context of like the apparatus of the United Nations, which is basically the United States, isn't it? I think the headquarters are in like New York anyway. It's basically um, so that working with the Netherlands and all these countries to solve poverty and all that kind of stuff. Personally, I don't think it's going to work. It hasn't worked for the past 100 years. The reason why I say that is because capitalism is a disease. Capitalism is the real disease. And in capitalism, it's all about me, myself, and I, right? The the agricultural potential and the wealth potential of the world could have resolved poverty years ago, like decades ago. It could have done it, but they chose not to because capitalism is all about keeping the rich rich and the poor poor. Only in
Yeah.
Islam you're gonna get a situation, a scenario where like Muslims are mandated Muslims are mandated to alleviate the poverty of other people, Muslims and non-Muslims, even living within the state of Islam.
Yeah, to be fair, especially with the because you have to pay zakat 2.5% of your wealth. If
Yeah, I know.
everyone did that in the world, then there would literally be no poverty. There would be no people on the streets. There wouldn't be people hungry, and so many diseases that come with this, and it's unfair on those people. And yeah,
Yeah.
that's why Islam is, you know, the truth. I think we have another voice message.
Oh, okay. Let me see his little message thing.
I'm not saying we're perfect. No, nobody's perfect. So
That's true.
I spent a lot of time in Pakistan and India and Egypt, and so I think I'm more. Yeah, but you know what? I don't pretend to be, the best person.
You know what? I
Yeah.
can't lie. This man has a very cool voice. I can't lie.
Okay.
Literally
It's not
sounds like Batman.
it's not about it's not about yourself. Uh, these comments. It's more to do with the system that that entrenches the entire world right now, Muslim and non-Muslim. Like all the Muslim states right now, they run on under the premise of capitalism. They're not Muslim state. They're not Islamic at all. Um, in Arabic, we would call them Dar al Kufr, i.e., land of Kufr, but that's a separate topic. So, what I would say is the fact that they what you're saying to me is the fact that yeah, nobody's perfect. But what we're trying to say is the fact that yeah, the system that's being implemented currently is not perfect because it's a system of man. In Islam, we have the system given to us by the Creator, and it's been known in history. Like whilst Islam was actually implemented properly, historically, that I'm on about, then there was no poverty, literally zero poverty. I think another message.
No, no, I understand it's not about myself. That's for sure. So, but I just want to tell you that we can all work together, and you know what I mean. It's not about selfishness or anything like that. So,
Yeah,
Yeah, 100%
that
agree with what he's saying. If we work together, that's the only way we can, actually make a difference.
that's true. But then what I would say is that if I were to uh say to what you just said, because you just said that if we all work together, but then it's down to, isn't it down to the premise or the idea upon which you work together upon? I.e.,
Yeah,
like if the premise or the idea is wrong, i.e., capitalism is the worst idea on the planet, yeah. If that is wrong, it doesn't matter if you had 10 billion people working together. If they're all based on capitalism, working on that idea, then it will not lead to any fruitful outcomes for humanity. It won't, because capitalism is about me, myself, and I. Individualism. It's a man-made system that's come to man-made solutions, and it doesn't, as in like you mentioned, one of the brothers mentioned on this cast, the fact that historically, um, we've done so much when once Islam was implemented, and that's the case. That's what's happened before. It's a fact. The fact that Islam eradicated poverty, like there was no poor people. That's a fact. Look at our history records.
said
I agree, and it's not about all about capitalism. It's just how we going to survive. And if we can all be on the same page as that, then That's our goal, you know.
I didn't get the last bit. Do you hear what I said?
Can you not repeat the message?
I'll
I
repeat it.
I agree, and it's not about all about capitalism. It's just how we going to survive, and if we can all be on the same page as that, then that's our goal.
Well, I think you mentioned the fact that it's not actually capitalism that, we should, like, we need to be following to work together and to kind of to solve these problems. I think that's what he was trying to say from what I got anyway.
So I mean, like, I would say that it is. I think what I said before, like, what is a group of what is a group of people? I always use the football analogy, or what this guy would say, soccer. They call it soccer in America. The soccer analogy. So the soccer analogy is the fact that you have a team of people and they play on the field, and but they've all agreed on that field to an idea, i.e., the rules of the game, and then they have a judge, i.e., a referee, to judge on that game. But what I'm trying to say is the fact that you mentioned about capitalism, and it's not always about capitalism. Capitalism is the idea. So if those players on that pitch are working in accordance to the rules of that idea, but that rule that the idea that's been implemented on that pitch are the rules of, say, baseball instead of soccer, then those players are going to play it wrong, and things are going to go out of hand, and it's not going to work. Can you imagine if so like soccer people on the soccer pitch, yeah, and then they're adhering to the rules of American football? Like, it wouldn't work. Like, it just wouldn't work. So I'd say that capitalism is the sole cause of the problem, and like unity, like, and I don't know if I think I'm presuming this person's a non-Muslim. What I would say is about that unity can only occur with Muslims and the Islamic idea. The reason why I say this is the reason why I say this, I can bring justification for it. In Islam, there's no difference between a black person and a white person, or a white person and a black person. There is no difference, and there's no, as in, like, the Quran that I read is the same exact Quran of, say, a Kurdish person or a Pakistani person. Let's see what
You know what, Islamic guidance. I will tell you this. You are my brothers, right? So you might not feel like that right now, but I can tell you, I would give my life to you, and I have done it. So I got 7 bulldogs, but you know, I will help you just as much as it's just a human being.
That's an interesting discussion. I've had this discussion before. The fraternity, the brotherhood, we're talking about the unity of Muslims and the
Yeah.
unity of yeah, the topic is about unity of Muslims, but I've had this question before about the unity of humanity, the unity of people.
Yeah.
I don't know if that could actually occur, because I'll make one comment, and then I'll let you guys speak. I'll make one comment, is the fact that it's that soccer analogy again, or the American football analogy. If you have a whole bunch of people on a pitch and they're not in agreement to that one single idea, what happens to that match?
It just goes
What's the point of
AWOL.
You got what? Yeah, whatever. Yeah, it just doesn't work, does it? The match doesn't work. Like,
Yeah.
things break. Okay, in the American football pitch, yeah, people will probably break because they're a lot more physical than the soccer matches, isn't it? So, like, it just wouldn't work. So then the next question you need to ask yourself is, how do I know that Islam is the truth? You're trying, as in, like, I'm trying to convince you the fact that Islam is the unifying bond that can resolve the problems right now for society. But then you could counter that and say, well, how do I know that Islam is the truth? Isn't it? Isn't that the question?
I
Yeah,
mean, you
but
could say that, yeah.
how would you, like, for example, the brother that obviously sent us that message, he's trying to come across from the point of humanity. How would you discredit um, the unification of humanity? Like, how would you say it wouldn't work? How would you like tackle that situation?
So it wouldn't work because the unity of humanity, all of peoples, right, is predicated on a human thought. Uh, and human beings are fallible. Like we're naturally fallible. we can't we can't think for ourselves properly. Like the solutions that we create. I mean, like look over in Britain, in the United Kingdom, England, in the Houses of Parliament, they make one rule up and then they make another law to almost plaster over the other old law because it didn't work. Then they put another plaster on, then they put another plaster on. It doesn't work.
So are you saying in a way that we can't produce perfection, which
We,
is what we need?
you know what? If putting it simply, you're right. Yeah, that's a very simple way of saying it. You're right. Because we're limited human beings. Like we can't, as in like we're by nature we're limited. Like only God is able to make that kind of judgment on us all because He has the overall viewpoint.
I think
Let me
he
see.
sent us two messages.
I think so. Man, I don't know why I keep stuttering, but yeah, I think we have we all have our internal beliefs, and that's what we do. Doesn't mean this is right, that's right. You're
Right.
talking about mostly about a team, right? So yeah, if we're not on the same page, then we're not on the same page. So we're destined to failure. But that's what I was telling you. I said,
Do you get that last bit? Do you get this?
I heard most of it. I didn't hear the last bit.
Do
Yeah, I
you
couldn't
guys
really
get
make that.
So he was saying the fact that the whole issue of you know
I think so. Man, I don't know why I keep stuttering, but yeah, I think we all have our internal beliefs, and that's what we do.
well
Doesn't mean this is right,
if I
that's
just
right.
tackle that one, if he just made a comment about everybody has their internal beliefs and it doesn't mean that this is right and that's right. But what I would say to that is the fact that naturally, if we're tackling the fundamental questions of like man, life, and the universe, naturally there can only be one right answer. As in, like, as much as like I've met some very fun, loving Christians, and like they're all about love and all that kind of stuff. But when you come down to it, really, and when you press them the questioning, at the end of the day, because I don't believe that Jesus is Lord and Savior, I'm gonna go to hellfire according to him. That's a fact. Just like from a Muslim perspective, if you don't believe in one true God and if you don't believe in Muhammad as being the messenger of God, then you'll be just destined for hellfire. There can only be one right answer. It's like in a real world example, if I don't, who's the president in America right now? What's his name? Biden.
Joe Biden.
Yeah, Joe Biden. So same for you. Like if you don't comply with Biden's laws, then you're going to jail. Like same here in the UK with Boris Johnson. If he makes laws up, which he does do, and we don't comply with it, we'll probably be locked up or like the police will catch us or something. And so So the whole theory of there not being any kind of absolutes. There is absolutes. There is right and wrong, and there is what you're on about on the worldly level is a very subjective right or wrong. What we're talking about is an objective right or wrong, because naturally my version of right and wrong is different to yours, is different to everybody else's here in this conversation. But the only right or wrong that actually matters is God's, because He has ultimate control over everything. Let's see what this
No,
guy
no,
said.
I
Yeah,
agree,
well,
Right.
no, I agree, and that's kind of what my precipice is to say that. Listen, we don't think that Muhammad. I know, Jerusalem, another one, and then and Jesus and God, yes.
Do you guys get that?
Um, if you if you play it again, I might.
No, I agree, and that's kind of what my precipice is to say that. Listen, we don't think that Muhammad. I know, Jerusalem, another one,
That's the
and
case,
then
dude.
and Jesus.
Dude, you know it is fear that Muhammad Sallallahu. Dude, if you know, convert to Islam, man. I'll tell you straight. Convert to
what did he say?
Islam.
I didn't catch what he
I
said
don't know.
properly.
Well, I ain't gonna lie to you. I didn't even actually properly understand it because it was a bit like broken a bit and stuff like that. Or so all I heard is him saying Muhammad Sallallahu. So then I thought. By the way, when we say Sallallahu, it means in Arabic it means peace be upon him. Muhammad, peace be upon him. So if you know this, then you should convert to Islam. That's what my advice to you is. I'll tell you
Yeah, and
straight.
I feel like a lot of, like, for example, Christian people don't believe the fact that Islam is the only religion which makes it an article of faith to believe in Jesus Christ, peace be upon him.
Yeah,
So,
that as well.
yeah,
And also, what I would say is the fact that we have what's it called? We have within our religion a way of proving it, i.e., the kind of proving testing of it is the fact that the Quran is something that's unchanged, and then Allah God tests humanity to write one chapter like it, and for 1,400 years nobody's been able to do it. So that proves Islam is the truth. Like no other religion has a test within it, like an inbuilt test. What Islam does.
I think there's another
Well,
message.
well, and I think that's the reason that we don't have correct communication because people want to criticize other people, and you know what? I don't criticize anybody because I have no right to criticize anybody.
What I would say to that one is that personally, I think that you have a right to criticize ideas. Like
I
if you
think you
don't
have.
think it's something, you know what
I
I mean?
think you.
Obviously, no, we don't mind criticism. It's when it gets disrespectful, which is annoying. You know what I mean?
Yeah, constructive criticism is the best way to put it, isn't it?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
if you have questions, if you have doubts, then you should explore it. If you have uncertainties about things, you can ask, you can critique, but I think obviously in a respectful manner. I think that's important.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone
Yeah,
has their own. Yeah,
you
go on.
know what, brother? I listen. I don't, judge you, and I hope you don't judge me, and I hope we can all get together and just say kumbaya.
What I would say to that is the fact that you're right. I don't judge. Nobody else judges. But I'll tell you who does judge. God judges. So therefore, if God judges and He's telling us what's right and wrong, because my version of personal subjective right and wrong is subjective, isn't it? So my version of right and wrong is different to the other brother's right or wrong. It is different to your version of right or wrong. It's different. But the only objective right and wrong that's ultimate is God's. So if God's telling us as humanity to become Muslims, to be Muslims and to believe in Muhammad, peace be upon him, as the final messenger, then that's what we should do. And if that can be proven as well, the fact is, if you were to write one chapter like the Quran, which is the open challenge of the Quran, then I'd convert out of Islam tomorrow. Like, I'll become Christian if you want. That's how sure I am. Like, try and write one chapter. Pay Arab linguists to write one chapter like the Quran. They won't be able to do it. If you were, I swear to God, hand on heart, I'd become a Christian tomorrow.
And you know what? I mean, if God judges me and He says you shouldn't have done that, Dave, and okay, my bad.
Nah, you know what it is to that. What I'll say is about that. By that time, it's too late, mate. It's too late. You'll be dead. Like, we all believe in day judgment, so you'll be too late. That's the issue. So my thing is, now is the testing ground. Now is the time for you to actually test yourself. That's why we're here. And like I says, the objective morality can only come from God. Like, everybody's version of right and wrong is like different. Like, I might believe that eating a bag of fries, yeah, is good for my health. And then another brother might say to me, no, cardiovascular disease, you're gonna get disease. It's all subjective, isn't it? The only objective choice making is with God. And the reason why this discussion will come up now is the fact that you need to make the decision now, because nobody knows when they're gonna die. Nobody knows when they're gonna pass away and all this kind of stuff. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
I think what I want to say to this brother is, he seems like a really nice guy. He seems like he's got a good heart. And I think, it's people like him. I always hope that, inshallah, Allah shows them, the light. Because he seems like a genuinely nice guy. Seems very polite. Brother, I just want you to research for Islam. Learn about it, because I promise you, once you have your questions answered, which Islam can answer all your questions, it'll be life changing for you. And obviously, like Madullah said, one day it will be too late, and I really don't wish that for you. So please, try and find out the truth. And once you do, I promise you, it's Islam, and you won't regret it.
I think he sent 2 other messages.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah.
You put a challenge on me, challenge at me, and I will do that. No. God is all forgiving, man. You know what I mean? He forgives me. I tell you this, and I'm going life experience. I'm going to tell you that I had cancer for about 1.5 years. So God got me through that stuff. So you can say it's Allah, you can say whoever you want, but it's a higher power. I'll tell you this, man. Like I was saying, they gave me the 90 days to live back in June 3rd, and so I'm still here talking to you.
Oh, wow.
So what I say is the fact that Allah gave you 90 days more to live to find out the truth. That challenge, by the way, that you mentioned before, that challenge, people have been trying for 1,400 years. Like, think about it, like 1,400 years. That's why I'm like not really. That's why I don't really. I've got that confidence. I don't really fear if I don't. If I put out the challenge, because I know you won't be able to do it. You can try, but you won't succeed.
I think our iftar starts very soon. So
Okay, then
I might
put the
have to
challenge.
give.
Put the challenge out there to you, and inshallah, Allah shows you the light.
I think the
and
main thing is if you do your own research, and then if you research even your own religion, and then you research Christianity, if you are Christian, and then you research Islam, you will automatically, when you find out all the knowledge, you will automatically, I guarantee you, you're going to come to Islam. If you find out the true explanations of your questions, you'll find them, and then they will lead you to Islam. That's just yeah, that's the main message from today is just do your research, and obviously there's the internet to do that. And yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna have to dip.
Alright, cool then. Well, we're going to break our fast today. You probably know this, the fact that it's Ramadan, Muslims are fasting, so we're going to break our fast now. Okay, cool, lads. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
Walaikum salam.
See you guys in a bit.